Worthy Vice Chancellor, Minhaj University, Lahore, Professor Dr. Sajid Mahmood Shehzad, Honorable Justice Sayyid Muhammad Anwar, Honorable Sayyid Samar Hassain, the Executive Director, State Bank of Pakistan, Co-Chair of this conference, Professor Dr. Ishaq Bhatti, Co-Chair of this conference, Dr. Mohi-ud-Din. Another co-chair of this conference is still in the air. By that I mean Dr. Hussain Qadri. He has not arrived yet, but we are expecting him soon. Our respectable, honorable partner and sponsor of this conference, Sheikh Shabbir Hassan Mesmi, convener of this conference, Dr. Khurram Shehzad, Mr. Mohsin Naqvi, CEO, Pakistan Microfinance Trust Network, all other dignitaries, representatives of various banks of Pakistan, representatives of academic institutions of Pakistan, ulama, representatives of media houses of Pakistan, faculty members, students, and dear participants of this great conference of Islamic banking and finance. I would like to extend a warm thanks to all the foreign delegates who have taken the time out to attend this beautiful conference and traveled to Pakistan from almost 20 different countries of the world. So at the moment, we have 36 foreign delegates attending this conference, experts of Islamic banking and finance of different nations. A lot of good ideas together on which we all can work hard towards the propagation and promotion of Islamic banking and finance. There are so many things which will take place, inshallah, during these 2 days, and I'm sure it will be a memorable experience for every single one who is attending this conference, inshallah. Dear audience, as we are attending the 8th version of World Islamic Banking and Finance Conference at Minhaj University, Lahore. So this year I see the academic conference which started 9 years ago, that has turned into an Islamic finance fest. You see all the banks, their representatives, stalls outside the conference. The bankers are sitting inside here in the hall, attending the conference. Academics are here. Religious advisors are here. All the major regulatory bodies of Pakistan, their representatives are here. Our worthy and honorable justice is here. So almost every single stakeholder of Pakistan, they are part of this conference today. So we see it as a beautiful success story, which started 9 years ago, but alhamdulillah, during this course of journey, alhamdulillah, that has become a national, rather international event. Today, when we are hosting this conference, so it is a very important time for the industry of Islamic banking and finance. And why is that? Because in 2022, there was a landmark judgment passed by the Federal Shariat Court of Pakistan in 2022. And later in 2024, October, a law making was done by the Parliament, and which demands that by January 2028, all the Islamic financial institutions of Pakistan should become Islamic or move towards Islamization. And then the system and the economic system altogether of the country should move towards Islamization. And right there, we are hosting this conference, bringing all the great minds of Islamic banking and finance together to think hard on the way forward, how we can achieve this target by January 2028. And inshallah, I believe in next 2 days, a lot of panel discussions, paper presentation, and discussions will take place. And inshallah, we'll get to know about the way forward, which will certainly help this judgment and our country, a beloved country, to move towards the objective of Islamization of Islamic financial institutions of the country. But the topic which I have selected today, I would like to take you all along on a journey to explore the legal and constitutional history of Pakistan in relation to Islamic finance. And then we would talk about the gaps. And in the end, I would like to propose a way forward, how we can make this implementation and execution easy for the country. So I would like to propose something in the end as a solution. Dear audience, the debate on the prohibition of riba, which is interest, in Pakistan has been deeply rooted in the country's legal and constitutional history, reflecting the aspiration to align the financial system with Islamic principles. The effort has been seen as a multiple legal, political, and economic phases in the country, culminating in the Federal Shariat Court decision in 2022, and then the constitutional amendment in 2024. From its inception, Pakistan declared Islam as the foundation of its legal and social structure. This principle is enshrined in Article 38F of the Constitution of Pakistan, which mandates the elimination of interest riba. In 1980s, Pakistan embarked on a journey to transform its financial system, introducing interest-free banking measures. These included the creation of Modarba companies, the introduction of participation term certificates, an amendment to the Banking Companies Ordinance 1962, allowing various Sharia-compliant financing modes like Musharaka, Murabaha, and Ijara. By 1985, the formal shift was declared, making all the domestic banking transactions in Pakistan interest-free. However, despite these changes, the system primarily relied on markup techniques in Pakistan, which were deemed akin to conventional interest-based practices, drawing significant criticism from Islamic scholars and jurists, not just in Pakistan, but worldwide. In the same transformative decade, Shaykhul Islam Professor Dr. Muhammad Tahirul Qadri made substantial contributions to the discourse on interest-free banking through his seminal work published in 1985 called Bila Sood Bankari. In English, we would call it interest-free banking. This groundbreaking work laid out a detailed framework for transitioning from conventional to Islamic banking in Pakistan. Sheikhul Islam's model emphasized the use of equity-based modes of financing such as mudaraba and musharaka, as well as trade-based solutions as mudaraba, as murabaha and ijara, ensuring Sharia compliance while maintaining economic viability in Pakistan. His proposals were among the earliest systematic efforts in Pakistan to provide a comprehensive roadmap for implementing a riba-free financial system in Pakistan. And that has continued to inspire policymakers, religious scholars, bankers, and students of Islamic banking and finance, and all the practitioners over the decades. The landmark Federal Shariat Court judgment in 1991 declared the prevalent financial practices and interest-based laws unconstitutional under Sharia. The ruling demanded the government to eliminate interest-based practice by 1992. However, due to the appeals and resistance from the financial institution, the case lingered in the legal system. In 1999, the Shariat Appellate Bench upheld the Federal Shariat Court's ruling mandating the complete elimination of interest by 2021 in Pakistan. Despite these directives, implementation was delayed repeatedly due to economic challenges, technical complexities, and institutional inertia. After decades of legal battle and partial reforms, the Federal Shariat Court delivered its comprehensive judgment on April 28, 2022. A decision authored by Honorable Justice Dr. Syed Muhammad Anwar, a big round of applause for him, which set a 5-year timeline for Pakistan to eliminate riba from its financial system. In response to Federal Shariat Court's judgment, Pakistan's Parliament passed 26th Constitutional Amendment in October 2024. This amendment made the elimination of riba a constitutional obligation now, revising Article 38F to state that riba must be eliminated by January 2028. While the decision and amendment marks significant milestone in the Islamic finance history of Pakistan, which includes, but that still has challenges faced by not just this decision, but this whole process in Pakistan. And out of those challenges, 3 most important challenges I would like to mention here. The first one is public debt transformation, which is converting both domestic and foreign debt into Sharia compliant structure. It is a daunting task requiring innovative Islamic financial instruments. The second challenge is capacity building, which is training financial institutions, regulators, and stakeholders to operate within a riba-free framework, which is essential for the smooth implementation of this law. And the third most important challenge is socio-economic impact, which is addressing the economic challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inflation alongside transitioning to an Islamic financial system is crucial to achieving tangible benefits of this judgment and law in Pakistan. In 2022, the Federal Shariat Court's decision and the subsequent constitutional amendment represents Pakistan's most significant legal steps towards Islamization of financial system. However, its success depends on collective efforts from policymakers, regulators, financial institutions, academia, and other stakeholders to develop sustainable, equitable, and Sharia-compliant financial solutions for Islamic banking and finance. Dear audience, the term Islamization, or I would say Islamization of financial institutions, hold multifaceted and profound significance that extends far beyond just eliminating riba from the system. While prohibiting riba is undeniably a core principle in Islam or Islamic economics, the broader vision of Islamization encompasses a fundamental transformation of economic structures, societal priorities, and financial behavior to align them with the moral, ethical, and social objectives of Islam. This process is deeply rooted in overarching Islamic principles of justice, fairness, and communal welfare. Reducing the concept of Islamization of financial institutions solely to this prohibition of riba would be misunderstanding of Islamic economic system. Riba represents only one form of injustice in financial infrastructure, primarily involving exploitation of individuals through fixed or guaranteed returns without sharing risk or rewards in trade. Its removal is not the ultimate goal or objective of Islamic economics. I would rather call it a beginning or a first step towards the Islamic economic system. Historically, attempts to Islamization of financial institutions have often just focused on substituting conventional financial products with Sharia-compliant alternatives. For example, loans are replaced by murabaha, cost plus sale, or ijara, which is leasing. However, such efforts frequently retain the structures and dynamics of conventional finance, making them procedurally Sharia-compliant, but failing to transform their underlying nature. True Islamization of Islamic financial system demands moving beyond superficial adjustments to the essence of how financial services operate. The financial system must actively discourage exploitation, wealth concentration in few hands, and unjust practices while promoting risk sharing, mutual cooperation, and productive economic activities in any country or system. A meaningful Islamization of financial institutions or a system involves reimagining the whole system altogether. It is not just about make and shift arrangement. It's about reimagining and redrawing the whole system altogether. That includes the creation of mechanism that ensures transparency, equity, and accountability in economic dealings, converting conventional financial products into Sharia-compliant modes through procedural changes, such as using sukuk instead of bonds for the government financing, or replacing interest-based loans with Sharia-compliant contracts. Addressing compliance, that is an important part of this move, but does not necessarily achieve the transformative vision of Islam. Furthermore, Sharia-compliant financial institution must address the state's domestic and foreign debt obligations. The current reliance on interest-based financing for public debt must be replaced with the mechanisms that align with Islamic principles. Government securities should be restructured into an Islamic financial instruments such as sukuk to ensure compliance. However, this transformation must go beyond technical adjustments and align with the ethical and social goals of Islam. The financial system envisioned by Islam is deeply inspired by the practices and principles exemplified by Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the prophetic era, the economic framework was built on justice, mutual cooperation, and equitable distribution of resources in the society. Financial transactions were governed by the principles of risk sharing, transparency, and fairness, that no party was exploited or disadvantaged in that society. The prohibition of riba was just a complementary element to that whole big system and not the whole Islamic economic system. And the broader focus of that period was on social welfare of the society. This is the backbone of Islamic economic system. Any economic system called Islamic and does not look after the poor segments of the society cannot be considered Islamic altogether. So that has to be covering and looking after those poor and weak segments of the society to become a completely Islamic economic system. Poverty, alleviation, and economic empowerment were few other most important elements and pillars of that economic system which was given by Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the most critical yet overlooked aspect of Islamization is its social dimension. A truly Islamic financial system not only eliminates riba and comply with Sharia, but also addresses the real world problems like poverty, inequality, and financial exclusion. Islamization is incomplete if it fails to translate into tangible improvements in the lives of the poor of the society. If that does not address or improves the lives of the poor of the society, to me, there is no difference between conventional banking system or Islamic banking system. In the current context, despite the growth of Islamic banking, financial inclusion in many Muslim majority countries, including Pakistan, remains low. This is not just due to the absence of Islamic banks, but because of a broader economic challenges such as unemployment in the society, poverty, and inflation. Addressing these issues requires a financial system that actively promotes social welfare through innovative solutions tailored to the need of poor, small-scale farmers and micro enterprises of any society. Pakistan's reliance on interest-based borrowing poses a significant barrier to achieve riba-free economy. The issuance of sukuk, Islamic bonds, as an alternative to conventional bonds has been a step in the right direction, but it represents only a partial solution. To fully align with Islamic principles, the government must adopt equity-based financing mechanism, such as profit and loss sharing arrangements, which inherently align risks and rewards. Additionally, the process must include the transformation of government securities into instruments that are not only Sharia compliant, but also inclusive and participatory. For instance, community-based or asset-based or backed financing modes can be developed to mobilize public fund for infrastructure projects. These models would not only eliminate riba, but also foster a greater economic participation and accountability in the country. If we look at some of figures, statistics of the government securities, conventional versus Islamic, we see conventional banks holds a dominant share of PKR 38 trillion in government securities, while Islamic banks holds only PKR 5 trillion in the government securities. This shows a significant gap in the participation of Islamic financial institutions in government financing. Similarly, if we look at government securities held by banks, out of PKR 43 trillion in total government securities, conventional banks hold 25.6 trillion, whereas Islamic banks hold only 4.2 trillion in government securities. Deposits, conventional banks has PKR 25 trillion in deposits, whereas Islamic banks, they have only 7.3 trillion in deposits. To achieve this conversion, again, we need new Islamic finance-based instruments, new sukuk models, and a kind of product innovation to address these gaps. Without that, this is a dream which will not be able to be achieved. Dear audience, Islamic banks, which stand to benefit the most from the transition to a riba-free economy, must be held accountable for their role in promoting social finance and welfare. Their profitability should not come at the expense of their ethical and social responsibilities. Instead, they must actively contribute to the development of an inclusive and equitable financial system that benefit all segments of the society, particularly those who are in need. The current financial landscape in Pakistan reflects a stark disparity between profitability of Islamic banks and social finance, realities of the population. Despite the growth of Islamic banking, Islamic financial inclusion remains alarming low in Pakistan, with large segments of population excluded from access to basic financial services. This exclusion is not due to the absence of Islamic banks in the system, but stems from the to ensure that the benefit of Islamization reaches all segments of the society. Islamic banks must realign their priorities. This includes dedicating a substantial portion of their resources to social finance initiatives, community development projects, and microfinance programs in Pakistan. They must also adopt transparent and accountable practices, ensuring that their operations contribute to the social and economic upliftment of the community. Dear audience, another important aspect of Islamization of economy is human capital. Human capital, as we all know, is a lifeblood of any industry, and its role in Islamic finance is both pivotal and multifaceted. The journey to authentic Islamization particularly the creation of innovative financial products that truly embody Islamic principles, hinges on the availability of skilled professionals who possesses a deep understanding of Sharia and modern financial system. This endeavor requires a paradigm shift, moving from replication of conventional products to the development of authentic Islamic financial products. The current global landscape of Islamic finance underscores a significant gap in the availability of adequately trained professionals in Islamic finance industry. This issue is particularly acute in Pakistan, where the industry faces dual challenges: a lack of skilled professionals who can design Sharia-compliant products, and a shortage of individuals capable of integrating social impact into the financial solutions. The demand for Islamic financial professionals in Pakistan far outstripped the supply, with the additional 3,000 to 4,000 professionals needed annually for Islamic finance industry. But we are not producing that much. Moreover, the limited scope of existing educational program compound the problem. Many institutions focus on theoretical knowledge without equipping students with the particular skills needed to innovate and address the contemporary challenges. This lack of, among them, is lack in the development of genuine Islamic financial products, forcing the industry to rely heavily on tawarruk-based solutions, a practice often criticized for its resemblance to conventional finance. For that, Malaysia serves as a compelling case study, demonstrating how robust human capital development can propel the Islamic finance industry forward. The establishment of International Center for Education in Islamic Finance in SAFE and initiatives like value-based intermediation have placed Malaysia at forefront of Islamic finance education and innovation. These programs prioritize, thereby aligning the industry with broader objectives which are Maqasid al-Sharia. However, Malaysian experience also highlights critical lessons for Pakistan. Despite its advancement in educational infrastructure and government support to Islamic finance industry, the over-reliance on tawarruk indicates that even a well-developed ecosystem can fall short without continuous innovation and clear focus on ethical social objectives. So what to talk about Pakistan, where we haven't initiated this journey? Dear audience, the shortage of skilled and Sharia scholars and professionals in Pakistan that increases and aggravates the problem by the fact that many finance institutions rely on a small pool of religious experts. I would rather say 50% of the total presentation or representation on Sharia boards of Pakistan, 50% of scholars are common. You can easily imagine how narrow this whole circle is. And that would certainly tell you how much new ideas can only enter into the system where innovation for the products and system could take place. We need to open up so that we can invite more people on the boards with new ideas, with better Islamic financial ideas, so that we can come up with the products. Reading the same book again and again would not provide you new solutions. And many other institutions who are dedicated to the cause of promotion of Islamic finance. I call these new established centers the focus, a pivotal point where the innovation is taking place. We need to look into these and such institutions where the work is taking place, innovation is taking place, research is taking place, which could certainly benefit the whole idea, which could assist the implementation of the law passed by the Parliament of Pakistan in 2024. One of the most significant criticism on the current state of Islamic finance is its tendency to replicate conventional financial products. This approach not only undermines the industry's credibility in the eyes of people, but also limits its potential to offer innovative solutions to contemporary economic challenges. What we need to do, I call that move a migration from mimicry to innovation. That's what we all need to do in Islamic finance industry. We have to migrate from mimicry to real and genuine innovation in Islamic banking and finance. That will increase the share of Islamic banking and finance in the market. That will increase the credibility in the eyes of end consumer. That will certainly bring a lot of more confidence and trust of people on the banks, on the Sharia advisors, on the people and practitioners of Islamic banking and finance. Education institutions are uniquely positioned to lead this charge in product development. By integrating Islamic jurisprudence with modern financial theory, these initiatives and institutions can equip students and future leaders of Islamic finance industry with the skills needed to innovate and address complex challenges to this industry. However, the current landscape in Pakistan reveals a stark contrast to this ideal. One of the most pressing challenges in Islamization of this industry, as I have mentioned, is public and private, the foreign debts. And that would only be addressed if academia and industry could come together along with the regulators to think hard and work together to develop new instruments and solutions, such as Waqf-based financing could be an option. Community-driven investment vehicles could be an option. These options are yet to be explored on a significant scale. These models require rigorous research collaboration between academia, industry, and regulators. Without that, if we simply ask academia, they come forward and come up with the products. No, they lack industrial experience. Industry need to come together. Then if we expect only these two partners, they come together and give us the solution, no, again, they will not be able to. Regulators have to come along. Or rather, regulators have to initiate this move and bring academia and industry together on board and giving them a task altogether to develop new instruments and come up with the solution and addressing the problems the country is facing, the system is facing. If we are actually focused and with open minds, we bring more people on board for the idea, for the solutions, for the work, inshallah, this is not a big deal. We cannot address these problems. These are addressable. It's just a matter of seriousness, willingness to address the problems and challenges. Dear audience, now I would like to propose a solution. What is the solution? What is the way forward after the judgment, after the law has been made by the Parliament? By January 2028, how we can achieve this objective? not by just the statements, not by just such conferences. This is certainly a place where people brainstorm. But then we need something more to address the problem so that actually we could arrive together to that objective or defined destination. And to that, I would like to propose a multifaceted solution which has two parts of it. The first one is establishing a dedicated Islamic finance fund in Pakistan. That would prove to be a cornerstone of a substantial Islamic finance ecosystem in Pakistan. I would call it National Islamic Finance Development Fund. This fund will not only address the existing challenges, but also serve as a catalyst for innovation, capacity building, and development of genuine Sharia-compliant financial products. A collaborative and inclusive governance model will ensure the representation of all critical stakeholders and eliminate the legacy bottleneck while fostering merit-based disbursement of resources among the industry and academia. The objectives of this fund are supporting the research and development R&D to create authentic Islamic financial products that address real-world challenges. Second objective would be financing curriculum development and capacity building initiative across academia and industry. The third objective would be enhancing the infrastructure and operational efficiency of Islamic finance education and research in Pakistan. The proposed fund would be governed with the principles of transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. The authorities of these funds would be, it will be operated under the authorities of State Bank of Pakistan, Securities and Exchange Commissions of Pakistan, and Ministry of Finance. These regulatory bodies will oversee the fund alignment with national priorities, ensuring accountability at every stage. Who would be the stakeholders of this fund? Both Islamic and conventional banks will be part of this fund. They will participate and contribute in this fund as a part of corporate social responsibility obligation. Academic institutions will become part of this fund. The universities who have proved themselves to be a dedicated partners in this battle, they will be made part of this fund for the assessment, for the decision making, and for the development purposes. Non-banking and financial institutions will also come forward to sit on the board as a partners, where they will provide their analysis from the grassroots level. The legal and Sharia scholars, they would also be sitting on the boards, giving the Sharia advices and their expert opinion while disbursement of the fund and development of the products. Industry bodies such as Pakistan Banks Association, philanthropists, international organizations like IDB and AOFI, they will also be requested to send their representatives to be part of that council or fund, where they could share their technical expertise and other. The governing board with equal representation from all stakeholders groups will oversee the fund operations. Clear and public available guidelines for disbursement will ensure meritocracy and transparency. Periodic audits and reports will maintain the accountability and build public trust in that fund. This fund will mobilize resources through diverse sustainable channels, as I have mentioned. The Islamic and conventional banks, they will contribute in the fund. because of their corporate social responsibility. The philanthropists will contribute. Other organizations will be asked the zakat to contribute their zakat and other charitable obligations towards this fund. And some international donors will also and can be invited to do so. And what areas this fund will focus? Capacity building, financing faculty development programs in universities, student scholarships and internships, and establishing advanced training centers by Islamic financial professionals. This fund will assist doing all that in the country. Funding high-impact projects to develop new Islamic financial instruments, especially in the areas like public debt conversion and fintech applications, supporting academic industry and industry collaboration for product co-development, developing standardization or standardized curriculum in Islamic finance, incorporating emerging trends like ESG, fintech, and value-based intermediation, upgrading a physical and digital infrastructure of universities offering Islamic finance programs. Each recipient institution will submit a detailed report on fund utilization project outcomes biannually. Only institutions demonstrating measurable contributions such as research output, output of graduates, and product development will only be eligible to apply again for the funding. Institution will undergo periodic assessment by the National Evaluation Committee under that fund, ensuring consistent performance and impact. This fund will certainly expedite this movement, and the focus will increase towards actual implementation of the judgment and the law passed by the Parliament of Pakistan. And then these regulatory bodies will come together to motivate all the universities and industries and other stakeholders to actually sit together and by the time frames develop the tangible products which could be assessed and implemented in the industry. If we do not move towards the objective in this manner, we will not be able to achieve the objectives, and the destiny would be same like in 1992 a judgment was passed, then 2001, 2004, and this will again be linger on to something maybe 2050 or so. Unless we actually move forward with a tangible solution and implementation. And this is the way forward which I have described, we have to have a fund to do so altogether. And the second aspect of this solution is establishment of a development of collaborative framework for Islamic finance development. This will complement that fund. The development of collaborative framework for Islamic finance development, this will complement that establishment of the fund. So basically these two wings will come together to work on this idea to achieve the destiny and objective. Why? Instead of focusing solely on centers of excellence, focusing on centers of excellence which have been established decades ago, we need to sit together and look into the contributions of those centers today. Have we really achieved for what those centers were established? Or they are just another universities running the programs of Islamic banking and finance? If they are not, then the collaborative network will do that, which were supposed to be achieved and done by those centers. So these centers which are being established under the name of Centers of Excellence for Islamic Finance, they can also come together and sit on that collaborative network. And some other new institutions are to be invited as well on board. And then their focus should be broadened up. and that collaborative network will work with that fund together, and collaborative network will help and assist the governing body of that fund to translate and distribute the fund among the industry. So whosoever will be part of that collaborative network, they will receive that fund and they will execute the idea and then solutions or approach which will be decided among the stakeholders of that fund. They will be implementing it down in the industry. So in this collaborative network, industrial partners will be sitting, academic partners will be sitting, Sharia advisors will be sitting, HEC will also be part of this. This is where the academia will be mobilized actually to give their true input to industry as well as the regulators. So this collaborational network will be eyes and ears of that fund, which will be running under the supervision of State Bank of Pakistan. So this will be hands of that fund. They will actually work hard to develop a new product with the time frames, and they will provide all that to the State Bank, SECP, and the government of Pakistan. So it will be a very inclusive one. We will include all the relevant and active stakeholders and partners in this. And this fund, this collaborative network will be, as I have mentioned, an assisting hand for this. The administrative body will be again SBP, SECP, and HEC, and Ministry of Education and Ministry of Finance of the country. Collaborating academic institutions, merit-based recognition of such institutions, and not just relying on the size and age of the institution. We need to look beyond that and look what and where exactly the research is taking place, the contribution is coming from. So we have to look beyond the age and size of the institution. Then only we'll be able to achieve and arrive to the true solutions of something. They will be asked to develop national curriculum for Islamic finance. This collaborative network will be asked to develop national curriculum for Islamic finance. They will be asked to train Islamic finance faculty. They will be asked to develop Islamic finance academic programs. They will be asked to develop Islamic financial products. They will be asked to run the mentor workshops. They will be asked to provide consultancy to all the businesses and banks of Pakistan on the journey of transition from conventional to Islamization. They will co-develop different products, and they will regulatory oversight by SBP and SEC and HEC will be an instrumental thing in assisting this collaborative network. This integration will certainly create a tremendous results for the country and to achieve the objective. In the end, I would like to summarize this proposal for a better understanding. I have proposed to establish a framework, launch a fund which would actually finance the new development in the country, and the contribution will come from the banks as well as philanthropic institutions. The second phase would be developing a guidelines and merit for funding and evaluation, then implementing the national curriculum across participating universities. So every university would have a single curriculum which would be approved by the State Bank of Pakistan and not independent and theoretical only. It would be very practical, and that would be implemented countrywide. So a quality human resource could be achieved and developed through these universities, scaling research and innovation, fund high impact research projects, develop flagship Islamic financial institutions and products, use fintech and advanced technology-oriented solutions, launch social impact programs, and annually review to assess programs and refine strategies and expand collaboration with international Islamic finance bodies. If we achieve this holistic way forward, then only we will able to achieve the destination of Islamization of Pakistan's economy by January 2028. Dear audience, and for that, Minhaj University is always there to assist the country, assist State Bank of Pakistan, assist SCCP, assist industry. And to a starting initiative, today I want to announce that during this conference, there is an MOU signing ceremony taking place between Minhaj University and Microfinance Network. And we have decided that we will open up a department to assist country for the Islamization of institution. So inshallah, that department will be assisting any organization, bank, microfinance company, or any other business who is eagerly interested in becoming Islamic. So this department and council, which will, in result of this MOU, the council, they will be there to help them throughout the process and implementation of all the basic Islamic principles within their organization. So in the end, I would again like to thank all our honorable guests, representatives of State Bank of Pakistan, representatives of SCCP, our honorable justice, all the dignitaries sitting right in front of me, Dr. Amjad Saqib, and all other representatives who have made this conference beautiful by their presence. So I would like to thank you all once again. And most importantly, I would like to congratulate and thank all the organizing team members who have made this, their efforts have made this conference so beautiful and successful. Of course, we acknowledge that without your contribution and great efforts, we could not been able to achieve this success. Certainly, a lot, I would say rather all credit goes to the organizers and the team members, our students, staff members who have been instrumental in organizing and decorating this conference. Thank you very much once again. Wassalam.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request the Registrar, Minhaj University, Lahore, Dr. Khurram Shehzad, to come and introduce the next segment, the Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Assalamu alaikum, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear participants and respected guests, since 2018, Minhaj University, Lahore has proudly established a tradition of presenting Lifetime Achievement Awards to academic leaders, practitioners, and professionals for their significant contributions to the field of Islamic economics, banking, and finance. The slides on the screens display the recipients of previous awards starting from 2018. Each year, a jury of international experts suggests nominees, and after careful considerations, 2 recipients are selected.